Sarah and Daniel talk about coming out as homosexuals to themselves, their parents, and others during their adolescent years. They discuss how their experiences were similar and different from other teens. They explore the need for services designed for gay, lesbian, and bisexual young persons, and the need for safe places in school settings.
Well, I think that it's becoming easier and easier for kids to at least be open to the subject. I think that it's still not always, very pleasant and a barrel of laughs for kids to realize that they're different than their peers. But I think that there's been more discussion and more mention of homosexuality in a positive light, even if it's just a little bit, that kids are feeling a little more comfortable, questioning themselves and, expressing that to other people.
When did you two come out? When did you come out, Danielle?
I came out to my best friend when I was 13.
13?
Mm-hmm. And I just kind of told him that I was gay, and he said, well, you're my best friend, and it doesn't matter. So,
how did you know?
I had known for 2 years before that. I just had this feeling, I liked being around guys. I felt comfortable around guys, I just didn't feel comfortable, being with a girl. And I had forced myself into a couple of relationships with girls, and it just didn't feel right.
And so then how did you know what that label was, though?
I first figured out what the label was about 7 months after I figured out, when I started hearing the word fag, sissy, queer. It just kind of hit me, and I just felt that it was, directed at me, that I were those things, that I had to be those things.
And that seemed to fit for you,
Mm-hmm.
even though I'm sure they were said in a derogatory way, were they not?
Yes, they were.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Sarah?
Well, I went to an all-girls high school before I knew I was a lesbian. I didn't do it so that I could hit on them. But, and I can just remember feeling very strongly about one girl who was someone who I always wanted to be friends with, and then we kind of developed a friendship. And right about my senior year, her and I were kind of just talking about things, and we were in the car one day, and she said, okay, I have this question for you. Have you had the gay dream? And I'm like, oh my god, what do I do, And she's like, because I had this dream the other night about so-and-so and whatnot, and I was like, well, funny you should mention it. And so that kind of opened a dialogue between the two of us, and we spent the whole summer after we graduated kind of talking about it, and the whole time I was just feeling stronger and stronger about her. But she didn't feel the same way, which was kind of devastating, but at the same time it was okay, because it gave me a chance to kind of explore the issue instead of just my feelings for her. So I went away to college, and the more I was around all these people at college in California, the more I realized that I was not interested in being with boys, and I, just was much more interested in the lives and the experiences of the girls on my floor in my dorm than, the things that the guys were doing, and I just didn't want to flirt with them. And
so for you it was more of a process. It wasn't
Definitely.
just a revelation that came overnight.
Definitely. And I can, remember thinking, I don't want to be this way. I just wish this would stop. And like Danielle, I had, I tried relationships with guys and would, get kind of excited if I thought they were interested in me, because then I thought maybe I wasn't a lesbian, and so it would be okay. And even when I was having my most profound thoughts about being a lesbian, I was in my most serious relationship I've ever had with a guy. That was, a really close friendship, and I was able to talk to him about some of it, but we were intimate at the same time. So that was all kind of confusing for me, because here I am feeling one way about, someone who's like my best friend, and then I'm engaging in, an intimate relationship with a guy. But when we both went to college and went our separate ways, it became really clear for me.